Hi, this is Chris Ball from Mashpee TV here with another Mashpee update. Today, I'm privileged to have, once again, the senator has been with us a couple of times. He's come in again. I guess he doesn't learn his lessons. He just tolerates the abuse. But we have Senator Dylan Fernandes, our local state senator, and he's here to update us with a few of the the new happenings, the bridges, et cetera, et cetera. So, Senator, first of all, thank you very much for being here today.
Always a pleasure to be
Appreciate
on.
it as always.
Yeah, good to see you.
So what's new? What do you have to tell us?
Well, there's just a lot going on. I mean, we wrapped up the kind of formal legislative session. So any large bills that were passed before the end of July, they need to be put in a conference committee, and then we'll revisit them in the fall to vote on some big pieces of legislation. So we did a big economic development bill. We did a big energy affordability bill, people really struggling with their utility bills. We did a big environmental bill, a lot of housing policy. So a lot of stuff that's impacting people. The focus this session was really just all about affordability for people trying to buy a home, trying to rent a home, affordability for people trying to go have fun, whether that's seeing concerts or just going out at night. We had some legislation we passed around that, and affordability around utility bills. There's nothing we can do about an Iran war driving up prices and energy costs to exorbitant rates that are dealing with inflation, that are causing even more inflation. But we can do some things around reining in overspending by the utility companies here in Massachusetts. And so that's just kind of the wide range of policy that's come up. But at the end of the day, we're lasers focused on how do we make things more affordable for people here in Massachusetts.
Interesting. And is there a percentage you're trying to work with, that trying to lower cost on any of the items you spoke, or is it just in general whatever we can do?
Yeah, well, it just depends. I mean, it's a wide range of things. So when it comes to, say, housing, there's so many. Housing is kind of the number one driver of costs in our state. When we talk about people leaving Massachusetts, it's almost entirely people that look like me, ages 25 to 40, who cite the cost of housing here being by far their biggest challenge. And not only just buying a home, but rents are really expensive as well. And so we passed the largest housing bill in Massachusetts history 2 years ago, put a lot more funding towards building housing. And then, of course, we passed the seasonal communities designation for the Cape, which allows seasonal communities, every town on the Cape, to be able to now build housing for our workforce, the people that work for the communities. And so that's a really big change, making sure our teachers, our firefighters, our police officers are able to live in the community that they serve. And we also, as a part of that, if communities adopt this initiative, you can save a lot on your property taxes. You can have a residential tax exemption of up to 50%. So saving people money who already have homes, and then creating a pathway to get homes for the people who live and work in and run our towns.
I think our tax exemption in Mashpee right now is 20%.
Yeah, is that right? So you can go significantly higher now, which is good because towns are dealing with a lot of kind of budgetary restraints and restrictions right now, in large part driven by a rise in healthcare costs kind of nationwide. And so, this is a way to make sure that, you can still pay for your services without overtaxing the year-round residents. And so that's a really important piece. And, we've really been focusing on how do we get more funding back for our towns. And so in the Senate, I passed legislation that would reform our state aid formula. This is a formula that has, we did some digging on this. It's a formula that actually doesn't exist at all. The state aid formula, or it's the other term for it is unrestricted general government aid. This is the funding that the state gives cities and towns to do whatever they want with it to meet the needs for service for that town. It's unlike Chapter 70, which is for education, or Chapter 90, which is for transportation. This fund just says, here, municipality, whatever gaps you need to fill, you can use this funding for it. The way it's allocated in Massachusetts is completely broken. And so back in 2010, the formula was actually just frozen into place. And so today and since then, any increase in funding a community gets is just based upon the increase they got the previous year. And so there's no formula based on need, based on population size, based on anything. It's just based upon what you got last year, which was an incredibly dumb way, an unfair way to allocate money. And so an example of this, I believe it's if you take the town of Mashpee, you take the town of, I want to say it's Medfield, they both have around 19,000 people. Medfield actually has double the median income that Mashpee does on a per capita basis, but Medfield gets 4 times as much government aid funding from the state than Mashpee. So Mashpee only gets around 400 to 500,000. Medfield gets around 1.8 million. So it's profoundly unfair, and those are dollars that our communities here on the Cape deserve. And so in the Senate, I passed legislation to create a new funding formula to make it more equitable, to be based upon actual metrics rather than just what you got the previous year around population, service need, cost of providing services, all things that would just make sense to have in a formula. Unfortunately, the House didn't go along with that, but in the Senate, we're really committed to passing it. All my colleagues supported it unanimously, and we're going to continue to fight for our region of the Commonwealth to receive its fair share of state funding.
Okay. Good information, good formula. Let's see if you get it through the House. But
yeah, well, that's the problem. It did not go through the House. The House, we got to get it through the House. Like the Senate and my 39 Senate colleagues really recognize that our cities and towns are struggling, and also recognize that the policy and ways we've been funding them is profoundly broken, and it's just that it's been broken, and it just compounds itself every year. And so for the sake of fairness, we should have a fair formula, and no one should have to, no teacher or firefighter anywhere in the Commonwealth should have to lose their job because a city or town can't pay for them because of a completely broken, unfair, and unjust formula.
yeah, I know, like I live in Mashpee, as I think you know. My own tax bill is going up because of the wastewater funding, which we clearly need to take care of. But the tax exemption, as my bill is going up, but then the 20% is taken off, I'm staying about where I've been.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I'm getting clean water, and my tax bill's sort of what it was. So
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
So,
And Mashpee is pretty late to supporting kind of clean water compared to other Cape towns, especially like some others were ahead of the game in big plants and some sewering, and so Mashpee is kind of playing catch up right now, which is a good thing because you need. You got like clean water and a clean environment, I think is why we all love the Cape and Mashpee so much. And it's, our economic driver to the region. The reason we have tons of tourists and visitors every year is because of our pristine beaches and and waterways. And so it's really, from an economic standpoint, in community's best interest to keep our really precious water resources safe and clean. And in the state, we passed the Cape and Islands Water Protection Fund, which is money that we set aside here on Cape Cod just to be used for water quality. And so when someone stays on the Cape, whether it's a hotel or motel or Airbnb or some other short-term rental, they pay 2.75% of a fee into the Cape and Islands Water Protection Fund. And that money all is raised on the Cape, stays on Cape, and then towns like Mashpee or any Cape town can use it to help fund wastewater projects. It's supposed to raise, when we first envisioned it, it was supposed to raise $1 billion over 30 years for water quality on the Cape. We're actually exceeding those metrics in terms of revenue raised, and it's around, I want to say, $30 million a year right now, I think a little over. And so that's actually going really well, and our towns are taking advantage of that state-created fund, the fund our legislative delegation, the Cape and Islands delegation, created, and we're the only place in the Commonwealth that has that.
Now, is that tax, you said, on motels and hotels, is that just on them, or Airbnbs, are they included in that?
Yeah, Airbnbs are included. Any short-term rental is included, so hotels, motels, Airbnbs. And there were some that were said, that's really going to prevent people from coming here. The truth is, we've actually seen a big increase in people coming here since this fee was added, and so it had zero effect on whether people came here or not. And not only that, that's a lot of money being raised to protect one of our most valuable natural resources that actually brings those people here in the first place, and that's money that you and me as Cape locals aren't having to spend through your tax bill to protect it. So we're saving local taxpayers on the Cape a whole lot of money as well.
Can you define what short-term rental is? Is there?
Yeah, it's anything under 2 weeks.
Anything under 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about if I rent my house? If
Yeah.
somebody's renting your house, that's in there too?
That's not short-term rental. Like year-round?
No. There's people that rent their house like on the islands, well, everywhere, that say, I think at one time there was you could rent your house for 2 weeks tax-free.
Right. Same thing.
Is that included in that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not 2 weeks at a time, but 2 weeks in aggregate. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good info. So, as we're talking about tourists and tourism, let's talk about bridges.
Sure. Everyone's favorite topic. Yeah.
I know that you have a bridge informational forum coming up the 27th, Thursday the 27th, 5:30 to 6:30 at the Wacoit Meeting Room in Mashpee.
Yeah.
Which we're going to put out live.
Town hall. Yeah.
So can you give us a little intro into what's going to be discussed there?
I'd love to. So when I first took this position, it was really important to me that our region has a voice. Cape Codders have a voice in the Cape Bridge project, which is the largest infrastructure project in our region's history. And these bridges and the decisions made around them now will determine our transportation future for the next 100 years. So it's really important that we all have a voice in them. And so when I got elected, we kicked off our state senate Cape Bridge Forum series. I believe this is our 6th or 7th public forum where we bring the head of the project, Louisa Paywansky, into the community to meet with people, hear directly, and so people can hear directly from her about what the latest is around the bridges, where they're at, and then ask direct questions directly to her and other people as part of the MassDOT leadership team on the project. And so it's really important to me that people who are invested in the Cape and care about transportation, that they have a voice and be able to come to these community forums, understand what's going on with the Cape bridges, and have a dialogue with the people running the show.
All right. So once again, that's going to be on the 27th.
Yes, 27th, 5:30, Town Hall. Come. Anyone and everyone is invited. We'd love it for people to come and be a part of this, learn more about the bridge project. The Sagamore Bridge, for people who don't know, that project is already funded and underway. You're probably going to see some construction next year on the Sagamore. The Bourne doesn't have any funding at all, so that's a big problem. Yeah. And then for people who might not remember, the state actually doesn't own these bridges. These are two federally owned, federally operated bridges, and the federal government is required to update them and keep them safe. But they absolutely need to be replaced. There's no question there. They're 90 plus years old, 90 plus years old, and it's beyond time to get these bridges replaced. I think they're 80 plus years old now that my memory's serving me. The point being, they're very old bridges. Yeah, and they're considered. The Army Corps did a report on them, a 2020 report, which people can look up online. These bridges are considered functionally obsolete and in need of replacement, and that's what they recommended. And they looked at a whole bunch of alternatives, highly recommended replacement of the bridges. And if the bridges don't get replaced, then they have to go through a major rehabilitation, which shuts down a bridge for an entire year, 6 months to a year, and then puts it to 1 to 2 lane traffic for about a year or two after that. That would absolutely cripple and devastate this region. So that can never happen. Fortunately, the Sagamore Bridge, funded, ready to go. The federal government now needs to step up and pay for the Bourne Bridge, which they own and are legally on the hook for operating and keeping safe.
Now, when you said we might see some construction start on the Sagamore, I'm assuming you mean the new bridge.
Correct.
What would they be starting to do at that point?
Well, this is a great reason why you should come to our forum, and you'll be there, Chris. You can ask Louisa directly. But I don't have the full construction timeline, so I can't tell you. I can tell you what they're doing now, which is, and people have probably seen them out, where they've been doing soil tests. You might have seen people with hard hats around the bridge area, canal area, doing soil tests, doing surveying. There was a big environmental impact statement that was the big permitting document that's already been filed and done. And the latest piece that the project's in now, the latest phase, is in the bidding and procurement phase, which is really exciting, I think, for our region, in that this will be an economic driver and a jobs creator in southeastern Massachusetts.
Okay.
And so that's the latest part. And then what is the next phase? That's you're gonna have to come on the 27th at 5:30 at Mashpee Town Hall. That's a little teaser.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll have a key to the door, so maybe I'll let you in.
That's great. Please do.
What's the projected length of the build out?
So it's about 9 years, but that was a super conservative estimate, and that includes all the permitting. So Actual build of the bridge, I think was around 2 to 3 years. And that's like the bridge itself. And then there are, the state does own the roads coming into
The
and going
access
off
roads.
of. And so there's going to be some big changes there, which is exciting. When the new Bourne gets built, and hopefully the feds step up and pay for it, I don't think you're going to be seeing a rotary anymore, thankfully.
What will Channel 5 do with the
Thankfully
Bourne?
for all of us, I know.
Here we are at the Bourne Rotary.
We're going to have to find a good place for those hedges, though. But yeah, it's so that's, that'll be a big change, and like a very necessary one in terms of traffic patterns. The bridges will be, quite wide, significantly wider than the current ones. There will be a breakdown lane. It's still 2 lanes of traffic, but there's actually, like the new Sagamore is actually, and this will be the same for the Bourne too, they'll both look the same. There'll be a bridge going off and a bridge coming on right next to each other. So functionally, it'd actually be 2 separate bridges, but like right next to each other. And so then there'll also be a pedestrian access point, which would be nice for bikers, for walkers. It's separate from kind of the car traffic, which is very different from the current bridges. And so overall, just, well, what would you consider just a normal modern experience, which is, I think, what we're owed at this point.
Well, I can think of 2 questions I'm going to have for the 27th. What's happening to the state police barracks at the Bourne Bridge? More importantly, what's happening to the Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah, there will be, the Dunkin' was probably going to have to move, because these are getting built on the inside of the current bridges, if that makes sense. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Is that, you really like that Dunkin', huh? Is that your
Well,
go-to Dunkin'? It's not near Mashpee.
No, but when I'm going off Cape,
Okay.
it's
That's
where
your
I stop.
Okay, good.
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 All right, but more information to come
And they'll
on.
have, and it's really helpful, and anyone can go online right now to the Cape Bridge Project website and look at the renderings, but it's really helpful at these forums. They'll bring big map blowouts of the proposed traffic patterns. And so it's actually, they're as a local, they're really good to look at, because you get a great sense of where the roads, will move, and where what the bridge layout will be.
All right, well, more info to come.
Yeah.
So November's coming. Are you running?
I'm running for re-election. I felt like I just did this, and that's because I did just do it. It's every other year, which, God love John Adams for putting that in our Constitution. But yeah, so the Senate's up for every other year for re-election. Really proud of what we've been able to do this year. We created the Cape and Islands Bridge Forum. I saved the Cape and Islands Mental Health Center and Pappas Children's Hospital when the state was trying to close it. Brought millions of dollars back to this region. Been pushing to get commuter rail to Buzzards Bay on the Cape, and finally bring access to transportation that this region has been left out of for a long period of time, and passed a whole lot of bills into law this session, ranging from supporting our tourism industry here, to supporting our water quality infrastructure here, to supporting housing affordability, tax-free first-time homebuyer savings account, and so many other pieces. So done a lot in a short amount of time, but more to do for sure. And so I'm excited to be running again and asking for the people for their support in November. And hopefully we can continue to make the Cape a more affordable and vibrant place to live.
If people have questions for you or for your office, how do they get a hold of you?
Just reach out. My cell phone is 508-257-1174, or email our office. It's just Dylan like Bob Dylan, and then Fernandes, Fernandes with an S, not a Z, at masenate.gov. And we pride ourselves on reaching out to people, pride ourselves on helping people. We had this past year and a half, around 800 constituent cases for people reaching out for help, and we've helped them with whether it's getting unemployment, housing assistance, healthcare. We can help out on a number of different ways, and I think that's really inspiring work as well, to help people so directly and concretely and tangibly in their own life.
Right. Anything else you want to bring up as we, go into the fall here on the Cape?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, people should not hesitate to reach out. We pride ourselves on being really accessible, and to make sure to vote. Our democracy really depends on people being actively involved in the electoral process, and so really important to get out there, cast a vote, make your voice heard.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Well, Senator, once again, I want to thank you for coming in today.
Friday.
Hopefully you'll come in again before the election
Yeah.
and tell us, what's been happening and what your plans are for when you're reelected.
Yeah,
So
I'd love that, Chris.
thanks once again.
Yeah, my pleasure.
This is Chris Ball from Mashpee TV. We're wrapping up another Mashpee update. Once again, I want to thank the Senator for being here, and we'll see you next time.